Young Thug just said something that exposed the entire problem with modern hip hop.
In a recent live stream clip, we got Young Thug coming out talking, doing what Young Thug do, saying dumb stuff.
Young Thug says
hip hop is in a weird space,
and that everyone in the world is leveling up except hip hop.
And he cited the Kendrick Drake beef as a reason.
What weird space is that? And what could you do to make it get out of that weird space?
In a recent interview, he made a statement that should alarm everyone who actually cares about the culture. He said, and I quote, "I would be so happy if hip hop turned into pop." Not as a joke, not as a metaphor. He literally wants to turn hip hop into pop music. He wants to remove the bars, the substance, the social commentary, the technical skill, everything that makes hip hop what it is. And the reason why is more revealing than you think. His latest album flopped. Kendrick Lamar raised the bar so high with the Drake beef that artists like Young Thug can't compete anymore. So instead of getting better, instead of evolving, instead of rising to the challenge, he wants to lower the standard for everyone. This isn't just about Young Thug being salty. This is about a war for hip-hop's soul. This is about whether hip-hop remains an art form that demands skill and substance, or whether it becomes just another corporate product designed for easy consumption and maximum profit. And Kendrick Lamar is the only thing standing between real artistry and complete corporate takeover. Let me show you exactly what Young Thug said, why he said it, and what it reveals about the current state of hip-hop. Let's start with exactly what Young Thug said, because his words are more damning than most people realize. This wasn't just one offhand comment. This was a series of statements that reveal a complete misunderstanding of hip-hop culture, or worse, a deliberate attempt to undermine it. First, Thug claimed that hip-hop is in a weird space right now. His reasoning? Everyone is beefing. Specifically, he pointed to the Drake versus Kendrick beef as evidence that something is wrong with hip-hop. Then he said that the Drake and Kendrick beef ruined hip-hop, that it created division in the culture, that it made things worse instead of better. But here's where it gets really revealing. Thug said, "I would be so happy if hip-hop turned into pop. Not, I wish there was less beef. Not, I wish we could all get along." He specifically said he wants hip-hop to become pop music.
And this is going to probably turn into a Screwface Jean rant. It's probably going to, because I'm getting tired of this narrative.
And he also said he would be so happy if hip hop turned pop.
I don't know if the Drake Cape Avengers had a team meeting or something like that, but it just seemed like these guys get together to come up with their talking points from the PR company and go out there.
And Young Thug definitely must have amnesia, because before the beef, hip-hop was already suffering a 30+% drop in market share. If anything, the beef rejuvenated the genre. But just like anything else, you can't survive long-term if you're relying on one or two people to carry an industry, because you're doomed to fail if you're doing that.
Was it polluted? Yeah, it was polluted. Maybe that's the weirdness you're talking about, huh?
Go ahead, Doug.
I feel like I always wanted to do this type of music, and then I feel like rap is in like a weird like space right now, because it's just saying like everybody beefing, and then it's just like.
He said it's in a weird space because he feels like everybody beefing it, because everybody beefing it.
They try to say the Drake and Kendrick beef hip hop, but really what they're doing is trying to throw shots at Kendrick for taking down, for what many was a cash cow, Drake, right? And he basically neutralize the stimmy effect.
Before you became a rapper, Young Thug, rappers was exchanging words. Rappers was so-called beefing. You had real beef and you had rap beef.
Young Thug was never like a hip hop guy though. He definitely was just somewhat of a rapper, somewhat of a rhymer, but he never was a purist. He never was really hip hop culture, I would say. He's a rapper who could put words together here and there.
Some of the biggest, two of the biggest artists in the world, like Clash, and a lot of like the fucking ripple effect that came out.
I say, Young Thug, you need to stop watching them streamers, and you need to start paying attention more to your craft.
He said, it seems the two biggest artists in the world are battled, and now it seems like everybody's beefing. That is a fact.
I mean, we're over a year past it, and it is absolutely having and going to continue to have ripple effects.
Now, let's break down why every single one of these statements is either wrong, misleading, or deliberately dishonest. The claim that hip-hop is in a weird space because of beef shows a fundamental misunderstanding of hip-hop history. Hip-hop has always had beef. It's part of the culture, part of the competitive nature that drives artists to be better. Tupac and Biggie, Jay-Z and Nas, 50 Cent and Ja Rule, Eminem and basically everyone. These beefs didn't ruin hip-hop. They defined eras, pushed artists to create their best work, and gave fans some of the most memorable moments in music history. The Drake and Kendrick beef didn't ruin hip-hop. If anything, it saved it. It reminded people that skill matters, that bars matter, that you can't just coast on popularity and expect to be untouchable. But the most damning quote is the one about turning hip-hop into pop, because that reveals what Thug really wants and why. Before we go further, we need to understand the context of why Young Thug is saying this now, because timing matters, and Thug's recent career trajectory explains everything about his current position. Young Thug's latest album flopped, not just commercially, but critically. The numbers were disappointing, the reception was lukewarm, and the cultural impact was minimal. This is an artist who used to be seen as innovative, as pushing boundaries, as representing the future of hip-hop. But that was years ago. The game has moved on, and Thug hasn't moved with it. His sound feels dated, his approach feels stale, and most importantly, in the post-Kendrick landscape where bars and substance matter again, Thug's style of music doesn't hit the same way. The Kendrick versus Drake beef changed the standards for what's considered elite in hip-hop. Kendrick proved that technical skill, lyrical depth, and cultural authenticity matter more than stream.
But not only that, let me vibe with y'all for a minute. Not only that, with knocking off Drake, it tore apart the alliance of Young Thug. It tore apart the alliance of 21 Savage. It tore apart the alliance of Future, because now it just looks different. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, when Drake links up with all these guys, the cash cow for these guys, it just looks different. It sounds different. So now all the little, like, it was almost like they was one big group, one big clique, but now the clique broke apart. Now that nobody's cool with nobody, like DJ Khaled, it's not all love anymore. Like, if you go down the whole tree of Drake, he's either turned on everybody or had a problem with everybody. But not only for Young Thug, you're looked at as a rat. We seen the video. That's what the big problem with Young Thug is. You was sitting in the precinct telling on somebody for 30 minutes straight. I think you got some food too. I think he got some food. He was telling. He told on the guy who shot up Lil Wayne's tour bus. He was telling. Atlanta like to try to sweep it under the rug because it's Atlanta. There's nothing but trannies down there, and there's nothing wrong with trannies if that's what your thing is. But Atlanta's a weird place. Now they're letting a rat just be a rat. Hey, do your thing. But at the same time, you can't say, how come hip hop you don't understand hip hop? Like, what you mean? How come hip hop don't want to? No, hip hop don't want to listen to Young Thug. You already was on your cover with a umbrella and a Yoshimitsu hat. You know what I'm saying? And now it's exposed even more that you can't rap. So you was on the cover with an umbrella and a Yoshimitsu hat. You really can't rap. You a rat. You beefing with Gunna, calling him a rat, but he ain't even rat as bad as you ratted because you was sitting there telling it all. And you drop an album that flops and you mad about the rap game because don't nobody want to listen to you. You the worst of the worst. That's why don't nobody want to listen to you. They associated the person with the music, and that rap game hates the person. This isn't hard to understand. So y'all drop it in the comments. Young Thug saying that because of this beef, but really pointing at Kendrick Lamar saying because of the beef with Drake, that rap is in a weird spot. Nah, and then not only that, it's people like Young Thug that are letting the Post Malones in. See, letting Post Malone get away with hip hop is the biggest problem. Because now you got people like that's emboldened to say like Big X the Plug saying they rather be in country than hip hop. But you sitting here, you're taking from hip hop and rap and going over to country. This is what happened to rock and roll. Lil Wayne was cool and funny when he, came out with that rock and roll album, but that was the reason why rock and roll had died. Different cultures had took the sound. We had a rapper taking the sound of rock and roll yet again. Now we have country artists. You turn on some country, it might be a hip hop beat. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's a hip hop beat and a country bull. He be rapping, killing it. Somebody wrote it for him. But it's our culture that they're using now because of people like Young Thug letting them in. Y'all drop it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this. Young Thug basically blaming Kendrick Lamar for the weird spot that hip hop is in, but I don't think it's in a weird spot. I think bars are back. Lyricism is back. You got to be able to actually rap. You can't be on the album cover with a Yoshimitsu hat looking like a female. And you really can't rap. You just on there Cause I got friends who like Young Thug, and like I just was like, yo, this is weird. This dude is weird. Like it's too weird. They liked him. It was always weird to me. And he couldn't rap. I'm from Philly, so it's like, yo, this dude can't rap, yo. But they liked him, so it is what it is. And I don't dislike Young Thug. It's certain stuff I do like, but these comments are crazy. Because you have been exposed on every level of life, now you mad at the game. No, be mad at yourself. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this. It's crazy. Shout out Young Thug though with the Yoshimitsu hat.